All right, Michelle, let's get this done before that darn freight train comes through.
It's annoying.
I know. Hey, everybody, this is Dino.
And Michelle.
And we want to tell you about our podcast.
Hey, guys, what are you doing?
Killian,
Yeah.
we told you we're trying to record a promo for our podcast.
We're not gonna get it done.
About horror movies and TV shows?
Yes.
Where you tie horror movies into life lessons
And being decent
To each other. Yes. And we want to let you know that you can find it on all your favorite podcasts.
Aren't you gonna tell them where you can watch it?
Yes.
We were just trying to do
We were doing that. Yes. We've got a podcast.
Aren't you going to talk about your YouTube channel?
Yes. You can find it on the YouTube channel. That's our podcast YouTube channel. That's HUUUH podcast. And you can find the YouTube channel, and you can find us on Podbean, and you can find us on iTunes, and Stitcher, and all your favorite podcatchers, and farsightedblog.com. Did I miss anything, guys? Podcast. Love y'all. Stay decent to each other.
Are you ready to be scared to death? You joined us for Scary Larry's House of Universal Horrors. Now prepare yourself for Scary Larry's Pint O Horrors. And don't forget, as always, these guys swear like fucking sailors.
Fuck yeah, we do.
Hello.
10 seconds.
You've reached. Well, you know what? You thought you came for Pint of Comics, but you ended up in the wrong area. You're at Scary Larry's Pint O Horrors. That's right. Episode number 2 of this little series we're doing with Scary Larry Dwyer, Scary Larry, Sir Jon, Manster,
Yep.
and Ash.
With no voice today.
No voice. That's okay.
We're so excited.
We're not drinking tonight, which we don't drink every time, or maybe some of us do, some of us don't. But tonight is coffee, tea, and of course, Larry. Larry? You got a signature drink. What is your signature drink?
That'd be a Shirley Temple.
Oh, well, not at the bar.
That's right. We call that a Roy Rogers. My fault. It's a Coke Zero. I'm a Coke Zero guy. Usually caffeine free, but tonight I needed the caffeine, so.
So do you because I stopped drinking soda a couple years ago. I do love Coca-Cola.
Yeah. It's been 2 years.
2 years.
That's impressive.
Congratulations,
man.
Yeah, that's good.
And I've lost no weight. But hey, you know what? It's still I still managed to do that. Do you find that does that taste to you like regular Coke or no?
Yeah, much more than Diet Coke.
Because Diet Coke tastes like nuclear waste.
It doesn't taste anything like Coke, but Coke Zero I feel like does.
Yeah.
However, like I said, I usually drink the caffeine free, which everybody at work is like, what's the fucking point then? Like, what are you doing? Why don't you just have a fucking glass of water? You've got like brown chemicals. That's a glass of brown liquid chemicals. I'm like, yeah, basically. But
It's hard to find these days, though.
what, the caffeine free?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there's a shop right near me, and every week they usually have one. It's like they know I'm coming. They put out the 1 12-pack of cans that they have, and I snag it up and I just leave it. It's in the trunk of my fucking car. I just leave it in there.
Just leave it in there for
I'll put 3 in the fridge at work, and every week somebody steals one, and I'm like, let me find the one motherfucker in here with the can of caffeine-free Coke Zero because I know you didn't get it anywhere else. I will fucking beat you to death within an inch of your... Well, to death is...
Yeah.
I will beat you to death within an inch of your life.
Yeah, that doesn't make
It's
any
an
sense.
option. Which one do you want?
That's a good choice. I'll let them choose.
It's been a long week.
It has been.
We're gonna make some
Blunders?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
So on the first episode of the Pint O Horrors, we talked all about, and again, if you want to get involved in this, Larry gave us a list of 20 horror movies. We rolled dice. We picked 4 out. Each one of us rolls a dice, and then we let you folks on Twitter pick, and also go to Larry's website, www.connecticutcultclassics.com. Go to Scary Larry's voting page, and you get to pick. So on the first episode, you guys picked The Day of the Dead, which we talked about, and this one, we had 4 choices. What were the 4 choices we had this time? We had Ichi the Killer.
Yep.
Came up. We had
American Mary,
which John was really afraid of coming up because he hates that movie.
Almost wore an American Mary shirt tonight.
Were you going to wear it?
Just for John.
We had Funhouse.
Sisters.
Funhouse, right?
Funhouse, Toby Hooper.
Toby Hooper. And then the one that actually won out the popular vote, Larry, what movie was that?
That is Maniac, 1980, 81, 80.
Released in 81, but
1981.
it's considered 80 because it came out in other markets in 80.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
So, but it's in 80, 81.
Yep.
Oh, it feels like it.
It certainly
It
does.
feels like 70s.
The
to me.
late, great
Well,
Joe
yeah.
Spinell.
Joe Spinell. So, as we are wont to do,
Yeah.
where has this movie come to you? Like, where did you get involved? Like, first time you saw this movie, is this a favorite or is this something you wanted to revisit?
No, this is a favorite. It was shown to me. You know what? I learned about this one in Fangoria, like way back in the VHS days, and went and seeked it out. Me and my buddy Chris, we were the horror guys. Me and my friend Chris, when we were teenagers. His bedroom was just covered with pages of fucking Fangoria magazine.
Nice.
We would sit there and just all night long watch fucking horror movies. So this was one that we picked up from our local Channel 1 video in Bridgeport and plugged it in, and I've been in love ever since. It's really a love letter to serial killers.
It is not your
Sure
typical 80s slasher movie at all.
It's far from typical slasher film.
And I wonder, people must have thought that's what it was going to see it.
I'm sure.
And they must have been really surprised, I think.
I got to be honest, from just seeing the poster throughout the course of the years, I'm familiar with the poster.
It's a very significant look to that poster. I mean, you can't miss it, really.
No, it's the torso and legs of a well-endowed gentleman in tight jeans, holding a giant knife and then holding a scalp or a head in the other hand, and it's bloody and it says Maniac, and then it just says the tagline is what I told you not to come out tonight, or
something like that.
something along those lines, and it's very. So for me, every time I'd see, I warned you not to come out.
Yeah.
Every time I'd see this poster, and I saw that there's a remake. We'll talk about that later. There's a remake that came out about 6 or 7 years ago.
I almost watched that, and I was like, "Wait a minute."
though.
You should. Yeah.
Why?
It's solid.
It's actually pretty good.
Because I'm like, I know this movie was older. Why am I looking
Why is
at this
Elijah
thing?
Wood in it?
Yeah, exactly. So
He must have been like 3.
This is before Back to the Future 2, where he's playing Duck Hunt with Marty McFly in the bar there, in the cafe.
Oh fuck, that's
him. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yep. I think that might be one of his first appearances. So
The first thing I saw him in was The Good Son.
The Good Son
I think that was the first thing I ever was-
Macaulay Culkin, where
Yeah.
Macaulay Culkin plays that scummy little dude.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Basically the bad seed.
The bad
with
seed.
Macaulay
Yeah.
Culkin.
So the imagery of this poster to me, and then the little bit I had seen of trailers and stuff, seemed to me to be like this movie looks hardcore. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
like
for
almost
sure.
like a snuff film.
like a snuff film.
Someone on the Twitters who did the voting, on the website, said that I haven't seen any of these movies, but I voted for this one based on the poster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's you
does
guys
that
go
say?
back. You guys go back as far as I do. My first job was at a video store in Bridgeport, Channel 1 that I mentioned, and when you went to the video store, especially for horror, you haven't heard of a lot of these films. How did you choose
Right.
them? You chose them by the VHS cover.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was a solid VHS cover. So
I remember that being on the shelf. I remember many of the places I went to had the poster hanging on the wall too, because it's a very evocative poster.
Yeah,
I mean
absolutely.
it's something that you can't say about a lot of the movie posters these days.
No, it definitely. Yes. Fuck that window. I knew something was open in here.
Wow.
Yeah, double check.
that window.
Wow.
I knew I heard like fucking more noise than normal.
Get in there, Lloyd.
God, fuck that window.
Yeah, fuck them all.
You know what? Hold on.
Fuck these windows!
John got real mad about the windows.
Because I'm hearing all the noise. I'm like, it doesn't sound that loud normally.
Now, did you all see this movie before? I know Larry did.
I had never. I saw the remake.
You never saw.
I saw the remake.
Original. And John?
I'm not certain. I feel like I've seen it before. I just don't recall. And
Maybe you lived it.
yeah,
I hope not. Holy shit.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
So, did any of you, besides Larry, because I know Larry did, see the original of this movie before now?
I had never. I'd seen the remake though.
With Elijah
Wood.
Yeah.
I think we brought that up, right?
Well, no, we're redoing that.
No, did we bring
Yeah.
that?
Oh, you fucked that up.
Because the window was open.
So go ahead.
This is the window
Do that again.
doing it again?
One more time. One more time.
I'm my time dilation is way the fuck off. So.
All right.
All right, Colonel Weird. So, have any of you, besides Larry, seen the movie before preparing for this show?
No, just the remake, John.
Fuck you. I'm not sure.
That's an inside
to
joke.
this
None of
day,
you
I'm
will
not
get
even.
it.
Yeah, no one's.
Yeah, no one's gonna get that because this is the third time we've answered the same question.
Cut.
I really don't know. I think I did see it at least once back when videotapes were the thing.
Yep.
But I don't recall. I've seen so many stupid movies.
This is of the ilk of a certain type.
Yeah.
This reminds me of the type of movie that I remember. I remember when I was a kid going over my grandfather's house for weekends, and I remember he used to always watch like those like late night Channel 5 horror host shows, and they always seemed to be like, it wasn't necessarily like monster movies, it was more like slasher.
Yeah.
And this is like the definition of this is not even a slasher movie. This is a serial killer.
Yeah.
Like fucking deranged.
The first time I saw this was about a year ago. Do you remember AMC had a series on? I think it was around October. It was like
Walking Dead.
once a week. No, it was Eli Roth. His introduction to horror, they would do vampires one week, slashers, and this was brought up in that, and I said, I got to go watch that because I had never seen it before either. I think it was Stephen King actually brought it up.
Really?
Sounds right. Sounds about right.
This movie is Larry. When you rented this movie as a kid with your buddy Chris, when you grabbed the videotape, the actual tape itself to bring to the counter to rent, was there a thick layer of slime on this?
Did you have to wash after?
Yeah.
There was not. Amazingly enough, it looks like it should be dirty and slick.
If watching the movie makes you feel like you need to take a shower when you're done.
It does, but I will say this:
a lot of those
Watching the movie made me feel like Joe Spinella had to take a shower.
A lot of those movies from that period had that weird, dirty look to it.
Yeah.
And it's the 70s where everything was filthy anyway.
Especially New York.
Yeah, exactly.
You watch Basket Case, it's the same fucking thing. You watch Taxi Driver, it's the same fucking. You got Times Square full of the fucking porn shops. Before
1970s New York.
Yeah.
Is as
it's trashy.
It's not just trashy. It's a character in New
Oh,
York.
yeah.
And not New York's a character, anyways. But 1970s New York, Times Square in particular, where it's just like everything goes, anything goes.
I remember the first time my parents took me to New York. It was still like that, and my mother covering my eyes, walking me down the street. Because every other fucking store is a fucking porn shop.
Yeah,
not like that now.
No, God,
no.
Now it's a fucking tourist
commercial.
Most of the areas that you saw in Maniac were on 42nd Street. They're gone.
Yeah,
the whole area has just been blown out for Times Square.
Yeah.
That shit's all gone now.
They had to scrub it. They had to take it all away and scrub it.
Which one cleaned up New York like that? It was his goal, the mayor.
Wasn't it Giuliani? I thought it was Giuliani.
Giuliani, right? I think so.
Yeah.
That seems a little late, though. No, Giuliani. What year did he
Ed
come
Koch.
Maybe it was
Crotch?
Was it?
It was Koch.
Was it?
Mayor Crotch.
Mayor Crotch. Judge, as he was on People's Court, Judge Koch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah.
One of them fucked it all up. For
Some New Yorker is gonna. You fucking guys.
You guys.
Can't remember shit.
It was fucking David Dinkins, you assholes. So, Larry, since this is the Scary Larry's Pint O Horrors, why don't you just give us the broad spectrum of what this movie is about?
It's about a serial killer. It's a fucking case study. It's exactly what it is. It's a study. It's not your typical slasher. It's not the guy hiding, in the fucking closet. This is Mike Simonetti, as you know from Connecticut Classics. He described it as the first movie to take you through all of the how did he put it? The phases of a serial killer.
Okay.
From from the withdrawing from reality to the trolling the women, wooing, capturing, murdering, taking souvenirs, and the whole depression, guilt end of usually that's the end of the cycle.
And they're really serious mommy issues.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. That's like, I mean, you read about serial killers, and most of them had mother issues. Henry Lee Lucas's mother used to not only beat him but turn tricks in front of him, make him watch.
Yeah,
you know, almost all of them had like severe mother issues.
Just couldn't turn into Rorschach.
This was an idea. This movie was an idea of Lustig's, but just basically like he wanted to do a movie about a killer, but it came up to him. They were talking about Jaws, him and a friend, and they were like, "Oh, what if like we did like something like a guy was like a killer on land like Jaws is." And then he met Joe Spinell, and Spinell's like, "Well, let's fucking take it a whole other level, and let's do," because I guess he was really into serial killers, and he's like, "Let's make a movie about how an actual serial killer thinks and works," and that's kind of what they did here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did a lot of research because I think it was really well written, and the psychological aspects. I was reading a little too about. You know, he gets into that rocking back and forth motion after the kills, and it's like comforting to him, and that's indicative of some serious abnormal psychology.
Talking to the women, telling them, you know, calling her mommy. She called a few of them mommy.
This movie's fucking weird.
It's very trippy. Yeah.
Beauty has to be punished or something.
This. So okay,
it's a very uncomfortable film.
Yes,
from start to finish.
Yeah.
For a number of reasons.
And you know, it's funny that you mentioned this, and maybe it was just me thinking this, but like you said, the thing about like Jaws, like the first scene is it's like a tribute to Jaws, except instead of a great white shark,
it's murder.
Well, no, except for a great white shark, it's just it's a heavy-set Italian guy, you know, murdering somebody, and then I guess you know you're supposed to infer whether or not that's a dream.
Yeah, that's
it's not.
It's not.
I did read that he wakes from a nightmare.
Where did you infer that?
But you do see.
Well, he wakes up during that scene.
Yeah, I know.
Right, but you do see a couple shots later that he's reading the paper and it says Maniac slaughters two.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. Don't you see the girl's hair somewhere in his collection too? Because if you look, it's all there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I never for a second thought that was a dream.
Yeah.
No, he's having a nightmare again. Right. He's going through the guilt phase. He's having a nightmare about what he did because he doesn't
not to go out.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't really want to do all this. His mother, quote, is making him do this.
Right.
Not like Jason, but
Well, and this is probably an early example too of a movie. You know, like a lot of these slashers, like you know, like let's just say Halloween, for example. The protagonist of that is Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
You know, and then you know Friday the 13th, it's Adrian King, and this is the protagonist is the fucking guy.
He's the killer. Yeah.
You're following the guy. So like you said, you Michael Myers, you know, again he's a blank slate, but he kills somebody and then just moves to the next scene. You never see any sort of emotion or anything.
Right.
You know?
And you honestly, in the first movie, you don't really see him kill a lot of people.
Right,
They're already dead by the time you get to the scene. So
this movie's chock full. Chock full. There's enough killing in this movie to cover
and some very bloody scenes too. I was pretty impressed with some of those.
Well, that was Savini.
Tom Savini.
Yeah. His first. That was the first one of his early films.
Billed as a disco boy.
Yeah. Do you have the cast in?
I do.
Of this one. Let's go over the cast real quick.
Did he have a pistol dick on this one too?
No pistol dick in this one. But he was cast as Disco Boy.
Disco Boy.
All right, so
is that really his fucking name in the credits?
In the credits, it's Disco Boy and the girl he's trying to pork is Disco Girl.
Yeah, fucking good for them.
Yeah. Well, you got to call him something.
Yeah,
just be
before you go through the cast, since you already brought it up, can we talk about that effect when fucking Spinell shoots him in the fucking head?
Oh yeah,
with the fucking shotgun.
It was a head full of meat.
It was whatever it was. It was one of the. It had to be like one of the goriest fucking scenes ever.
Yeah.
At that point,
I was reading about that, and it said that the head is the same exact head used in Dawn of the Dead that Savini uses during the scene, the exploded head.
Yep.
He kept it originally in Dawn of the Dead. And it was filmed, I guess. The original ending of Dawn of the Dead was instead of getting away, the girl Galen Ross and the guy who was it?
Flyboy. No, Flyboy's dead.
Ken Forey. We're going to kill themselves because they weren't going to be able to get away. And in the original version of Dawn of the Dead, the way she was going to kill herself was she was going to walk, and this is crazy, but she was going to walk into the helicopter blades and let it hit her in the head, and her head was going to explode.
Yeah.
They changed the ending because they wanted to be a little bit more hopeful, so they changed the ending, but they wanted to use that effect. So early in the movie, there's the exploding head scene.
Right.
Savini still had that. So he used that that's the same exact like model and or dummy. That's fun. And he just reloaded it with more meat and shit.
Yeah.
But if you read about that,
it looked real.
He uses a real gun.
Oh yeah,
he uses a
did
real
you hear
gun.
The story about the gun?
He has a lot of this movie, like we talked about Mad Max with Gary a while ago, was filmed very similarly, guerrilla style, where they got in and out to do stuff. And to do this effect, Savini used a real shotgun.
Yep.
And they actually had a friend of Savini's with a pickup truck. As soon as the scene was filmed and ended, he threw it in the back of the pickup truck. The guy took off. So if the cops showed up, they could just say, "Oh, we're filming a movie." But he used live ammo.
Had a sound effect or something.
And I think if I'm correct, maybe you can verify this or not, or if you read it, it's actually Savini Savini's the one. Yeah, it actually was, because it said he felt funny shooting himself in the head.
Yeah,
that scene is not Spinell on the hood. It's Savini shooting the dummy of himself.
Yeah, because he had just unloaded. Excuse me. He just unloaded a gun and then ditched it.
Correct.
So it was him shooting it.
Yeah.
Fucking A, man.
Yeah, that was an all-time great, like very memorable. I remember the first time I think I ever really paid attention to this movie other than the poster was on one of the shows, like Lloyd was saying, years ago. They did a show on like A&E or something where it was like the top 50 scariest scenes in horror movies.
Yeah.
And that scene, the shotgun
Spinell
scene,
jumping up on the
was in that. And I just always remember that. Yeah, or most memorable or whatever it was.
Definitely, yeah. It's certainly memorable.
Yeah, you're right. It's not really scary necessarily.
For sure.
All right, so who do we have?
There are definitely scarier scenes in this movie.
Oh, no, there are.
Back up a little. So Maniac came out, I think we already said, January of 81, directed by William Lustig.
Yep.
Right, who is the nephew of, anybody know?
No.
I don't know.
Jake LaMotta.
Shut up.
Really?
Raging Bull.
Hey.
He also plays the hotel manager, the fat guy with the tank top. That's William Lustig.
Staying for the continental breakfast.
He looked like he actually ran a hotel.
yeah.
Like, when I read that was him, I'm like, wow, he looks like a real piece of work.
Greasy.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah, and story by Joe Spinell.
Yeah.
And there's one other credit. I didn't write the other name down.
Joe Spinell was the story and screenplay, and he split the screenplay with a guy named C.A. Rosenberg.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
All right, so the cast is Joe Spinell as Frank Zito, the serial killer.
Yeah.
He died in 1989.
Did you read how he died?
I did, but I don't remember.
Absolutely insane. So Joe Spinell, which right off the bat, like I wanted to bring this up because not having ever seen this movie, I could not believe this was Gazzo from Rocky.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And he was also in The Godfather.
The Godfather.
Chichi. So here's a
Taxi driver.
Taxi driver. He was one of the, I guess, in one scene, the Taxi driver.
Yep.
In 1989, at 59 years old, he was born a hemophiliac. He was taking a shower and the glass door broke and cut himself.
Yeah, I have heard the story.
He cut himself and they found him dead. The thing that's crazy is they found him dead in the same fashion that he's found at the spoilers at the end of this movie. They said he was bled out on his bed. And they said nobody ever knew whether he passed out or if he thought it wasn't so bad and he went to go take a nap, but he bled out completely. That's crazy. And the other thing that's crazy,
did he have any mannequins in his room?
No mannequins, nothing, no scalps. The other thing that's crazy about this whole thing to me is, and we've kind of talked about this a few times, is he was 59 when he died. He was 43 when they made this movie. He looks older than 43.
He looks a lot older. Yeah.
I would have put him in his 50s.
He's a very
it's the hair,
worn-looking
the pock
gentleman.
marks.
Yeah, the pock marks.
The thin layer of sweat / grease that's constantly on him.
Yeah.
And the noises he makes.
The moans and groans and grunts.
God, it's so disturbing.
It is. What else you got, Lloyd?
All right, so now we got Carolyn Monroe as Anna.
Yes, sir.
Who is a great
She's the photographer.
B-movie scream queen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anti-nudity.
The Hammer films.
She would not do nudity.
She wouldn't do nudity?
Nope. Beautiful woman.
She was good looking.
Oh my God, she
Yeah.
was just
I have a few things to say about her when we get to the story.
Okay.
Then you have Gail Lawrence as Rita, the model.
Rita.
Poor
Poor Rita.
Do you have the interesting part about Gail Lawrence, though?
Well, she was a 70s porn star.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sure was.
That's right. She was Abigail Clayton.
Yeah, Abigail
and
Clayton.
she made a bunch of porn movies in the 70s, and actually after she made this, she basically stopped doing porn, but she also didn't do much more in the real world either.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it's hard to break from porn into the regular.
Yeah, especially
industry.
70s porn.
Yeah. Back then it was real tough. Now it's a little easier.
She was one of the first, though.
Now they go back and forth.
Who broke out and did an actual film.
Yeah.
She was one of the first. And then was Tracy Lord.
Much later.
Then you got Tom Savini, who we talked about a bit.
Disco
as
Boy.
Disco Boy. Yeah, he does a lot of things. Special effects, makeup, film director,
penis dicks,
artist.
Wait, what did I just say?
Penis gun.
Penis gun. Sorry.
Yeah. You said penis dick?
He said penis dicks.
Penis dick.
That's cool.
So what did he work on?
That's my porn name.
Penis dick. That's a great name.
Make it Dick Penis.
It's not
That makes more
redundant
sense.
No, I like it backwards.
He worked on a lot of Romero films.
Who, Tom?
Tom Savini,
Yeah,
yeah,
couple.
including Martin,
Just a couple,
Dawn
yeah.
of the Dead, Day
Yeah.
of the Dead, yeah.
Night Riders.
Yep.
I think Friday the 13th.
Directed the Night of the Living Dead
He's a nice guy.
remake.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Depends on when you catch him.
True. I have
I've
seen
him very dickish to people.
I have
really?
as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I've also seen him sweet.
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's,
And I get it.
he's a normal dude.
Yeah.
So he just doesn't hide his emotions.
And I'm okay with that.
He was, I don't know if we brought this up on the Day of the Dead episode, so it might be redundant, but he was a Vietnam combat photographer.
He was.
Oh.
So that's where he got a lot of his interest in the special effects realm, or a lot of his inspiration was seeing some of the shit he saw.
Yep.
Yeah.
That just makes Tropic Thunder even more interesting.
And every year we'll still pose on Instagram for a shirtless picture, even though he's like 70 years
Yeah,
old.
well, he's still in pretty good shape, right?
A lot better fucking shape than I am.
I got two more. All I know is the names. I don't know
Okay.
anything about them. So Kelly Piper as the nurse, the unfortunate nurse who refused to take a ride.
She passed away in real life about 10 years ago.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, I didn't say of what, but I looked her up. Died about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, she really should have taken that fucking ride.
Yeah, why?
Yeah,
there's a
right?
serial killer loose,
There's a
and
serial
you don't
killer
take
loose.
a ride.
You're in New York City at like 1 in the morning.
We'll get to that, but I have a problem with that scene.
There's a lot of problems I have with that scene,
Yeah.
but
And then I got Rita Montone as the unfortunate hooker.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got
first one.
I have problems
The
with-
first-
I have problems with that scene as
Yeah.
Well, you know, here's my
which one?
Here's my
I have
main
a few.
problem. Here's my main problem
Yeah.
with the hooker scene.
Okay.
So
Let's go. Yeah, we might as well just go right
Let's
there.
dive right into it.
The length of it.
So, well, not
No,
just that.
that's-
I swear to God, I get 2 minutes in and I'm like, does this thing fucking ever end?
That's not my
Frank-
problem.
Just going
So
on.
Frank Zito wakes up from his nightmare, remembering his stuff. He goes out patrolling for women, and he comes across a couple of New York's finest.
But
right?
the thing is,
We call them ladies of the night.
Ladies of the night. Right?
if he's trolling for him, he wasn't trolling very hard because she got him.
he didn't have
Oh
to.
yeah, she pulled him right.
But she had to pay her. She said,
doing her
I need
work.
one more job for
Yeah,
my rent."
right.
$100
Yeah.
$100 for my
the
rent.
works.
The ultimate.
So she tells him
The ultimate. The ultimate.
What do you got? Yeah, much.
Yeah, hold on. Let me. So the ultimate is $100, right?
Whatever
Then-
that is.
Then the guy charges him
25 for the room.
35 after tax.
Plus
Oh, right,
$5, yeah.
an extra
Oh, yeah,
$5
if you want the
for
TV.
color TV.
That's
Why
right.
the fuck
Yeah,
did
why-
he pay for the color TV?
He did opt for it.
He did opt for
He
it.
sure
Yeah.
did.
I almost
Well, he
wonder.
said, I got a lot of money.
Yeah, I almost wonder if he was trying to seem normal, but like when he did say yes to that, I'm like, oh, is he going to actually have a nice time with her and then watch something on HBO and then kill her?
$5 extra for color
Yeah,
TV.
I thought
He was
maybe
like,
he'd turn
yeah,
the
sure.
TV on just for noise cover,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but that wouldn't have
Never
mattered in
happened.
color anyway. You could have just the
Yeah.
black and white noise is the same as the color
Color
noise.
TV sounds so much better.
So here's my one
me the black
issue
and
with that
white.
scene, and it's not so much an issue with the scene. It's just I give her a lot of credit. So here's this. This Times Square $100 hooker for around the world, which you assume is going to be a lot of stuff. But my God, man, she has no problem with kissing on the mouth.
Well,
No,
she
see,
she said that
I'm
in...
the, all right, we have the same problem, but my problem is with him kissing her on the mouth.
Yeah.
Well,
He's
yeah.
a fucking hooker.
Well,
you don't
He's
kiss a
fucking
hooker.
Joe Spinell.
1970s
Yeah,
New
that
York,
doesn't
man.
matter. That doesn't matter.
You know where that
don't-
mouth has been?
You don't kiss a fucking
Jesus.
hooker.
Yeah.
Well, the thing she
What are
she
you
brought it up
kissing
in
a hooker for?
the price differential there. It was like if you want kissing, it costs you an extra 10 or whatever the hell it was.
Do
And
you,
I'm
you
like,
remember Vince Shlomi?
Vince Shlomi, no.
Do you remember Vince Shlomi? The fucking pitch man with the fucking the slap chop.
Slap chop,
You're
yeah.
gonna love my nuts.
Yeah.
whoa.
Remember that guy? That was his fucking. That was one of his catchphrases because he was chopping nuts in the fire. You're gonna love my nuts.
Wow.
That guy kissed a hooker, and she bit part of his fucking tongue off.
You're right.
yeah, okay.
That's
Yeah.
what happens. You don't kiss a fucking hooker.
Or it's either that or you get bitten on the back by one John.
I was watching this movie and my wife was watching.
Albert.
Yeah, really.
I forgot about that.
3 points. Ooh. Yes. I'm gonna take a bite out of your spine like it's an apple. Yes. And I'm gonna wear some lady's underwear. Kick me in the balls and call me Sally. Alonzo Mourning for 3 points. Come on my face.
Here comes Penny Hardaway. Yes,
Maniac, man.
So we're watching the movie, and I said to Lindsay, I said I'm impressed with the quality of Times Square hookers because like she's
you know what she reminded me of?
She was attractive.
Remember the chick that used to sing live with Meatloaf? That's what she.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name, but she was always wearing like the tight white fucking leotard. Like,
okay, so you want to hear a funny story about her?
About the
lady with the meatloaf lady.
Oh shit,
the meatloaf lady.
So I was on YouTube. One of the Paradise by the Dashboard Light came on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know that's not the same woman in the video that sang the song. The one that sang the song was on Night Court for a while.
Right, exactly.
So I looked her up, and she was the one who did everything with him live.
Carolyn Monroe.
No, she was married to she was married to in real life, and she's still married to him. Do you remember Robbie Benson?
Oh yeah,
I remember
Robbie Benson is that woman's husband,
Mr. Murray.
and since like the 80s, yeah.
Well, holy shit.
Yeah, so there you go, little trivia for you. So yeah,
Carolyn
back to
Monroe
Maniac.
did do a video with Meatloaf, by the way.
Carolyn Monroe did.
Yeah, from this movie. Yeah,
Really?
Yep.
Do you know which one?
I don't remember. It wasn't Paradise.
It's a bat out of hell.
I don't remember. Not that.
No, I think it was later.
2
Maybe
out
it
of
was
3
later.
ain't bad.
No, it's not that either.
I would do anything for love.
Nope.
Fuck it then, Lloyd. I don't
Won't do
care.
that. Yeah, they're all after that. There's nothing.
No, it's really about a dildo.
See, if Lou was here, he could look it up for us.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, where's Lou?
Yeah,
Lou's
we
not
That's
here.
right. He doesn't like me. I forgot.
engineer.
If you were Andrew Morgan, he'd be here.
I know. I'm glad we got that on fucking tape.
So okay,
So where were we? Oh, the hooker scene.
he's you
You
know,
don't kiss a hooker.
and you know the thing you think you don't kiss a hooker, but you also think that like you just paid all this money for a hooker, you think you'd be able to like control your rage long enough to at least get a bang out of her. No,
I don't think he was there for that.
No, he wasn't.
He's
But I'm
never-
saying you already
don't
paid
think
for it. You
I don't
might
think
as
he's
well.
ever banged anybody.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
I don't think he's ever banged anybody.
Not
I
about
agree.
the bang.
I agree with that.
Not about the bang.
Yeah.
Yeah, model for me.
Did you notice her face changed in the scene?
Well, changed
to what?
He strangled her to death.
Yeah.
While he's strangling her,
She's a little blue.
they do a close up twice of the face,
one of the-
and it completely is not the hooker.
Oh, you think it's a different woman?
Did you guys? None of you notice this?
No, they did because he was. It was multiple times. It was his mother.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah.
at the time you're watching it, you don't know it's his mother. You don't realize that till
I
later.
did.
get you.
I did because I saw the remake, and I knew
all
that
right.
at that point. You're right. I probably wouldn't have gotten it if I didn't. In the remake, the driving force is his mother again.
No, when I first watched this movie and I saw the face change, I'm like, what the hell?
The movie does an interesting slow build to give you little hints and ideas
absolutely.
of what's driving this guy,
Yeah.
and it's very subtle. No, maybe not subtle, but it's definitely subversive in a certain way.
it takes its time because like
it takes a long time
between the
before
little things you see that he's doing and then the things he's saying, like
Right.
go
Right,
in the
it builds
closet,
much
go in the
later.
closet. You start to put it together that like he was abused or she was a prostitute doing tricks in front of him.
Yeah.
There's something going on.
After the first murder, I thought when he's talking to himself that he's talking to somebody else in the room. I'm watching the thing. I'm like, are there two guys here, or am I just fucking tired?
Right.
I mean,
And he talks in the mirror at himself.
yeah.
Yeah.
I told you not to go out.
But you're right. It
Okay.
builds throughout the movie and it gets deeper and deeper.
Yeah, and you get more and more information as you go.
Yeah.
So
and then as you go,
it's interesting. It's different.
He kills her. He does now.
The strangest strangulation scene I've ever seen because he's pushing her into the bed and she's like, "What are you doing?"
I know. How can she
all
still
right.
talk?
Yeah,
She's just screaming alternately
Yes.
and choking. And
I'm gonna get you.
I'm like almost coaching him. I'm like, squeeze harder, right?
he was
fuck are you doing?
for a
Get
big
her off
dude.
the bed. You're just pushing into the cushions.
For a big dude, he was not doing very good at strangling her.
Now, how the hell did he get out of there with a bloody scalp past the,
I don't think they were really.
I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't.
no one
think
really looks.
I don't think William Lustig's.
Did you like the color TV?
How was the turn down service?
You're gonna join us for the continental breakfast.
So I was serious about that breakfast. So okay, thank you very much.
It's a continental breakfast.
The color TV was wonderful.
We put mints on the pillow.
Color TV was wonderful, and I wanted to let you know that there's a body in the fucking laundry chute. You'll find that later.
Minus a scalp.
Yeah, minus the scalp, big time. And that was some good gore too when they show him actually scalping these women, you know, and kind of tearing their fucking.
That's an old Savini trick. He put that
that's
in
a
his
good one,
book.
actually.
He would run a small tube up the side of the blade, and the actor would just squeeze.
Oh, so like a plane.
Yeah, and the blood
to a very good effect.
And the blade would make a line because
Yeah.
it's just going across. Obviously, it's not sharp, but it always looked really good.
Yeah,
It's a great effect.
So he goes home. He talks to himself. He takes. I love this part. He takes the scalp. He puts it on top of a mannequin.
He nails it
and
on.
he nails it on with a hammer.
I love that.
With a, but with a tack.
With a thumbtack.
Yeah, with a thumbtack. Like,
why do you make me do this?
Yeah. Oh, God.
So, and then the other thing, here's a little detail that I actually liked a lot in the movie, and they left it open to interpretation. But did you notice he had one of those on his wall? He had one of those valet key things.
Yeah.
And you got to wonder if it's like everybody he's killing, he's just keeping their keys because serial killers keep all their shit. Yeah, it's full of keys. They never mention it, but it's right by his door.
Yeah, that's
on the back of the door. He's got like a half a mannequin.
You know what it made me wonder? It made me wonder if he was like maybe like the fucking super for the building or something. Because how the fuck did this guy get money? He obviously had money.
A lot.
Yeah.
He had money. You never saw what he did. That always made me think maybe he was like the building.
Well, he called himself a painter, right? Abstract painter.
Yeah, he was just trying to be artsy for Carolyn Monroe.
I'm Frank Zito.
He had to have enough money to take her to Clam Casino.
Yeah, Clam's Casino.
That scene, we'll get to that in a minute.
You want to go out tonight?
Did you want to go there when he fucking did the taxi driver impersonation?
Yeah, that was.
I was like, that's kind of funny, especially when people realize he was in Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
You talking to me? I was like, look at you.
Oh, yeah.
It's all you talking to me.
So he ends up he kills the hooker, then he kills Disco Boy and Disco Girl, which I have got to imagine that scene was completely inspired by Berkowitz there, the son of Sam. That was like right around the same time.
It absolutely was.
Or Zodiac, because Zodiac Killer did the same thing.
Right.
He killed a lot of boyfriend, girlfriends in cars.
And that scene, I don't think that the scene necessarily.
It was a nice view of the Verrazano, though.
The Verrazano was very pretty. And Disco Boy brings all his girls there.
Well, that was hey, you want to meet me someplace? Where? In the back seat.
In the back seat.
Look at you, Savini.
Yeah.
You fucking piece of shit. What a scumbag.
We're gonna change the name of this movie.
It.
We're gonna change the name of this movie to Tom Savini Gets Puss.
I don't think you got any.
No,
he didn't quite get there.
No.
He didn't get there.
She started to freak out because someone was staring in the window.
I can't blame her.
Spinell's fucking creepy head was bouncing up and down in the fucking window.
If I saw that fucking...
the guy is so stupid. He's like, there's nobody there.
No one there.
Just take your shirt off.
And she's like, Gazzo from Rockies out there.
It's really Greasy Wario. It's a me.
That's so right. He's Greasy Wario.
It's a me, a Greasy Wario.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna murder the shit out of you.
That's the new Mario game. Frank Zito versus Mario.
that scene necessarily, like you said before, it's memorable. It might not be scary, but I will say in that bit, the one part that was kind of frightening was when he actually turns the lights on and he's just standing there.
Oh, yeah.
Because that would freak anybody out.
Well, yeah, then you get Savini just staring.
But then like the most impressive part is you got probably 250 Frank Zito who looks like an Italian bag of fucking potatoes jumping like a goddamn leopard,
like a gazelle,
onto the hood of the fucking the classic American muscle, and then fucking blowing Savini's head into and it's gross too because she's like in the corner, like in the back seat, and there's just shit all over it. Like you can see shit on the seat. And
you can see it like just dripping down the back of the fucking seat. Like so good.
Yeah, that was a great effect. Tom Savini is really fucking impressive.
Top head blown like that. Scanners.
Oh yeah. That's
top fucking head blown.
It's very good. I when I saw it, I was like, wow, okay, this is really going in a different direction. And then the long drawn out torture of the girl as she's sitting in the car.
Yeah.
And he's just pointing the gun at her. I'm like,
just to eventually blow her away.
Right.
Yeah.
It's got moments.
You gotta wonder, is he arguing with himself in his head?
Right.
He shouldn't be doing this?
Well, he knows he's gonna. I mean, it's a winless argument.
But he has those moments after the kill where he's like, why am I doing this? Like, I don't have to do this anymore. And then, but like any other addict or someone with some kind of compulsion, he just, his brain resets after a while and he goes right back to doing it again.
And he has to do it again.
That's the cycle.
Now,
he loves him for a second,
I have a question. So we get the scene coming up pretty soon where he meets,
just so creepy.
He meets, what's her name?
Which one?
Carolyn Monroe.
Anna. He meets her in the park.
He doesn't meet her in the park.
Nurse first. Did we talk about the nurse?
Oh, we got to talk about the nurse.
The nurse was before.
Okay.
Nurse is first. All right.
Yep.
Nurse was first. So she turns away the ride.
So stupid.
Right. So it's like late at night, right? Like 1 in the
1,
morning.
2
They
in
get
the
off.
morning.
2 nurses get off their shift.
Yeah.
And then the one nurse's boyfriend comes and
We'll give you a ride.
offers her a ride.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'll take the subway in 1979.
Holy shit! Why wouldn't you take that ride?
Right.
Yeah, really bad
So
idea.
she's running around the fucking subway. You see him coming like
And
every fucking.
Before you get to that, this is really good for scenes of New York. Again, like you were saying earlier, it's just you're looking at old New York subway turnstiles that don't exist anymore.
Right.
I mean,
Oh,
all
those
this
are all
stuff,
gone.
all gone. It's fun to watch because there's just stuff that people are running through that if they were there now, man, people would be caught up in those things.
Oh god! Oh my god!
These are old steel turnstiles. I mean, your full body height things. I mean, anybody that's been in New York and has lived there for a long period of time know what I'm talking about. And she's like throwing coins around trying to get through the fucking
the scene where she's trying to get the coins into the machine to into the turnstile.
Yeah.
All I could think about was John Cusack at the car, and then just trying to get in Better Off Dead, just going,
oh yeah.
when the $2 kid is coming after him. That's all I can think about. She's throwing fucking quarters and pennies.
I know. It's just god, those damn turnstiles. It's just it's something to see too. You get some good shots of.
And you get the shitty New York City subway graffiti.
Oh yeah.
Which I actually had to write down my favorite. Flaco con Maria. That was my favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that in the bathroom?
That was in the bathroom.
Okay.
Flaco con Maria.
Oh, the bathrooms.
Yeah. So gross.
And I mean, Lloyd, did you notice that like in this scene where she doesn't take the ride, it's not even like shit goes bad like fucking 10 minutes into her walk. As soon as they leave, you realize he's been watching her, and it just goes bad immediately for her.
Right
Well,
away.
she feels it right away.
She knows
too.
right away. Yeah, she
And
feels
she freaks out right away too, which I'm like, all right, so apparently this has happened to you before.
Yeah, right. So there's a major fuck up. Not major. What's the fuck? It's
The
just
people on the platform?
Yes.
Yes, I noticed that.
So she's all alone on the platform, right?
Yeah.
Fucking running from this guy, and she's trying to get into the fucking train. She can't get into the train. The train starts fucking taking off.
It's a shot
And then
from
there's a
inside
shot
the train.
from inside the train, and
There's
she's on the
people
platform
all over the
with,
platform.
Like 40 people.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I missed
And
that.
then it cuts back to the platform, and she's
Empty.
alone.
Because
That's the whole guerrilla style
Yeah,
filming.
because they had they had to get the shot.
And
when the fuck are
there's
you
no
going to get a shot
CGI?
with a shot of a train with a fucking empty platform?
Yeah,
There's
really.
There's no empty platforms in New York City.
when that scene happened, and I noticed that, I thought, oh, they're going to show that there's more people here, and she's going to have like a sense of like relief because other people are there, and then they go back and it's empty as shit.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
you
like,
get that sense of relief just a little later in the bathroom.
I never felt relieved.
I never did, but she did.
She
For some-
totally did.
For some reason, I don't know. Why.
I'll be honest. Out of all the scenes in this movie, the bathroom scene was the tensest scene for me.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's fun to watch where you think things are going to go and it doesn't, and it draws it out a little further and a little further.
Right.
You're like, okay, he's going to get her now. He's going to no, he's going to get her now. He's going to no, he's going to get her now, and then you finally get to that point.
And then he gets her, and what does
they
he
give you? Yeah, they give you the illusion that she's going to be safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, he just sticks her right through the back.
with a fucking bayonet? I
A,
think.
bayonet.
a fucking
A bayonet.
bayonet.
And he washes it off in the sink.
Oh yeah, with his gloves. Yeah, He's got
That was
cotton gloves.
Hold on, the bayonet. That was the scene before that. Where he was packing up the violin case, right?
Yeah.
The violin case, for which he didn't put the bayonet in. By the
No,
way.
he did not.
But the
carried
violin,
that.
he's putting everything else and just fucking jamming Cracker
Cracker
Jacks.
Jacks.
Yeah, Cracker Jacks.
That's right.
I'm like, yeah, I
box of Cracker
always eat
Jacks.
Cracker Jacks while I'm packing up my fucking suitcase full of weapons.
Yeah, because doesn't he feed a Cracker Jack to one of his little mannequin dolls?
yeah.
Probably want a cracker.
Yeah.
But you prefer your popcorn butter though.
I do. I
do.
prefer butter
You
popcorn.
do.
I do like a kettle corn once in a while.
When he starts talking to the mannequins, it just goes south real
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, and the thing that's amazing, so the other thing I wanted to bring up now that we talked about the nurse scene is the scene where he meets the photographer in the park. Here's another part I just noticed that was really weird was it starts off with the two kids on the swings.
Yeah.
And the one kid says to the other kid, "Hey, you want to go ride bikes?" And the little girl says, "My mom said I can't leave the swings." And he's like, "Oh, screw her, let's go." Like they're little kids. They get on their bikes. They go opposite directions. They're not even bicycling together.
And they
Did you
drive
notice
right by
that?
the mother who doesn't say a
The
word.
mother never says a word, but these kids are. It's not like
How do you know they don't have walkie-talkies?
I just thought that was. Did you not find that odd? Like,
No, it's
let's go
weird.
ride our bikes just opposite from each other and not talk to each other at all, and not play together at all.
Right.
Yeah. So she goes and then she runs
There's
in.
deeper meaning to it,
I guess she runs into Frank, and Frank very tells her be very careful, little girl, and that's where he meets up with what's the
Well,
character's
she
name?
takes
Anna.
Anna, but she takes a picture of him from far away.
Right. Oh,
They
yeah,
don't
yeah.
meet there.
Right.
Because Anna then turns and starts taking pictures of others.
He sees her bag against the tree and finds her address on the
Right. He pretends to tie his shoe.
Everybody wants to write their fucking address on their purse.
Well, not only that, but when he shows up and just, it's so creepy. He's like, I'm Frank
she's
Zito.
like, come right in.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing?
You took a picture of me in the park.
What beautiful woman alone invites this creepy-looking, greasy Wario into her house?
I don't know, but
you took a picture of me in the park.
I don't know, but I would have gotten laid a lot more if this was like if I grew up in 1970s New York, because
by some really attractive women.
That's what I'm saying.
You'd probably have a cold sore every other day.
As our friend Lou would say, the Reacher Settler in their relationship is amazing.
Oh yeah,
she is gorgeous, and he looks like a fucking human fart. Yeah. I mean, he literally looks like I said, he's just Don't talk
about Gazzo like that.
Well,
Rocky will fuck you up.
And it's one of the things about this movie that I'm not fond of the film. I'll say that right off the bat. But there are certain scenes that are really, really good, and any of the scenes that the two of them are in together, man, they're just good together.
And they weren't
fucking creepy. She's fantastic.
Yep. And he's socially good. That's what
doesn't make sense to me.
I wrote a note down.
He's still goddamn creepy when he's talking to her.
He's creepy, but he's not what you would expect.
I wrote a note down that I don't know if I could really verbalize it. But what I wrote down was like Bruce Wayne Batman.
Yeah.
Like he is like when he's a serial killer, he's Batman, and then he puts on this other facade that's like near perfect. Like
I'm gonna get you anyway.
When he's pretending to be a normal dude. He's got an air about him. He tries to, I'm an artist, and I'm going to take you to the nice day. But it's like you almost can't put together the fact that this guy who, when he stalks women, makes the noises. He fucking, he's murdering people left and right. He's talking to mannequins. He's talking to himself. Yet meanwhile, he has enough together to fucking pretend to be a real person long enough.
Yeah. Again, like I said, Spinell did his homework. Think of Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
This dude got through law school. This dude was a very respected guy. Think of John Wayne Gacy.
What do you think I am?
John Wayne Gacy was a very respected guy in his community.
I think we feel that way because
discovered all the
of
rotting
just
corpses
how
under
gross
his
he
fucking
looks.
house.
Yeah, I mean the physicality.
Right? He's not
of
handsome. He's just so
I
gross looking that you don't expect that.
I don't even want to say that. I want to say that
the green army jacket.
I can't get into Ted Bundy's head, obviously, and
but you don't want to.
But I don't know if in my head I think Ted Bundy was like talking to mannequins and then maybe making grunting noises. When I picture Ted Bundy, I guess I just picture him being a fucked up dude who does things in a normal fashion. And what I mean by this is that Spinell, his character, is so animalistic in some ways, so that when he does actually have these scenes where he is pretending to be something different, it's more impressive to me.
Yeah.
Because from when you watch him the rest of the movie, you're like, there's no way this guy can interact with people.
You have to,
but he can.
You have
But
to
he
sensationalize it.
totally can.
You have to sensationalize it because it's a movie. So they have to make it, more sensational than it would be. But, you do have serial killers who took trophies.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah.
The Zodiac Killer would send fucking letters with pieces of fucking flesh.
Yep.
But obviously the guy, existed in society. Still, nobody knows who he was to this day, and that was 1969. Yeah. So the dude obviously existed in society as a normal person. Nobody suspected that. So there are some people that can be that fucking twisted when it's that phase of their mentality, but they can, act in society like that.
It's scarily impressive.
Yeah.
It's scarily impressive. And so when he does go to her apartment, he introduces himself as kind of like this artist, and I would like to take you out. Do you have time to go to New Jersey? Well, one of my favorite bits of it was because I think I misunderstood it. You like Italian food? And he says, and what I heard him say was Clam's Casino, other Italian food. So when he says that, I'm thinking, it's got great Clam's Casino, other Italian food. and then the next scene, the sign is Clam's Casino.
Right. Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, they better fucking have good Clam's Casino.
Like, wow.
That's the fucking name of the joint.
Wow.
You want to go to Atlantic City?
You want to go to Atlantic City with me and eat at a fucking place named after their best dish? It used to be called Shit on a Shingle, but now it's Clam's Casino.
I'm sorry about the strippers, but it's my favorite place.
So he takes her to dinner. She's immediately right? Like enthralled with him.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's over the moon.
I would love to see some of your work.
Right.
Do you get this?
No,
I don't get it.
You want to see his work? It's a bunch of fucking scalps nailed to a fucking mannequin.
With
That's his work.
The only thing that makes sense in that situation is personality.
Yeah.
So what does she see in his personality?
Yeah.
He doesn't do that.
She likes the porn stash.
He took an interest in her art.
Yeah.
He took an interest in her art, and then he opens up to her.
He opened up to her.
He opened up about his
About his mother.
mom.
Yeah. And that's where you...
He had a
you're
sweet
right.
picture of his mom in his pocket to show her.
Then he kills Rita and goes to the funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice of him.
Oh, yeah. It's
Well,
wonderful.
we're not there yet, though.
Yeah.
We didn't get to the showdown yet.
What showdown?
Going to the showdown. Showdown.
The song, that was the song.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Or I didn't pay attention to that.
Oh, it's the worst song ever.
There's
It's
some-
worse than the end of First Blood.
But it fits really well into the scene.
Is that when they're doing the photo shoot?
When they're doing
Yeah,
modeling,
when he goes to the photo shoot and the three ladies are up
Okay.
there and the music is playing and that was a song.
It's called The Showdown?
That's
Going to the showdown.
It's an old disco song.
Was it more awkward? Was it more awkward, John, than the scene in Mad Max where Goose fucks the giant woman man and she's like singing that disco song?
See, I didn't have a problem with that scene as much as you did.
It was so weird.
It's just a very strange looking woman.
Strange,
man.
giant blonde Chinese David Bowie man thing. It's so weird.
Something right out of Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, really. Don't touch that, Boxy. So he goes to
the
her.
70s.
He goes to her
Photo shoot.
Right. And what are they being paid? Do you remember, Lloyd?
He says
$100?
$100 an hour.
Yeah, $100 an
Yeah.
hour.
So
they can get a hotel room at the fucking.
Yeah, right.
$5
With
an
color
hour more.
TV.
That's right.
We'll roll in the
$100
RCA
They can
for
get
you.
the ultimate.
$100 you get the ultimate. $35 you get a color TV, and that's tax included.
That is tax included.
And William Lustig.
Don't forget the continental breakfast.
Continental breakfast. Oh, well, you know what?
No remote
I wanted to
control,
mention earlier. So we said that Abigail Clayton, the actress who plays Rita,
Rita,
who's the next victim, was a porn star. William Lustig directed a couple of porn movies under the pseudonym Billy Bag.
That's right.
Billy Bag.
Yeah.
Shocker.
He,
After taking a look at that guy, real fucking shocker.
Billy Bag.
Yeah, Billy Bag. And as you see in the scene where they show Lustig, there's two kinds of guys
I'm
that
gonna
wear.
go search these out tonight.
There's two kinds of guys that wear tank tops. There's guys that should wear tank tops, and then William Lustig.
Yeah.
You know, the guys that think that they
The
should wear
food
tank
stains
tops.
on the front.
And I was gonna say, and their tank tops are always has on his mustard stain.
There's like mustard here. It's like
Grease over
how do you got a
there.
fucking mayonnaise stain? That's white, but you can still see it.
It's like still white, but it's just got that outline.
It's just got the outline of the oils.
That's not mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Oh, that's mayonnaise right there.
That's themen.
That's a little bit of a spurt stain. So all right, so we get to the scene with the showdown, and we end up having the wonderful photo shoot. And we were introduced to Abigail Clayton, who, by the way, is pretty cute.
She's very
pretty.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to admit that as soon as I read that she was a porn star, I decided to check out.
Did you look about?
She gobbled on a dick. Like you wouldn't believe. She had a giant 1975 dick down her throat, and as I'm watching it, I'm going, that's her. Except she's not in a real movie.
She had bush up to her navel too.
I don't think that he did.
He did.
This gentleman had a severe bush. If you find it, because I just did a quick internet search, it was like they're like out in the opens, like near a fucking in a cave or something. Yeah, and it's just a giant fucking bush down her throat.
Is it Johnny Wad?
Yeah. Matter of fact, she actually didn't die from him stabbing her in this movie. She died because when they did the autopsy, they found pubic hair lining her entire esophagus, and they said she would have been dead in a week anyway.
Pubic inhalation.
Pubic inhalation. Yeah, from blowing a giant 70s dick.
It's not me.
So what was it? Frank stole her necklace.
Frank opportunistically steals her necklace so that he can this dude somehow
He's bright.
He's so far he's gotten into two women's houses that he should never have gotten into.
No.
How about just the fact that he should have never known where either of them lived?
Yeah,
there is that.
You know what I mean? Like how the fuck? I don't even remember how he. I
don't remember how he got hers.
Anna. I remember how he found out where Anna lived, but I don't remember how he found out where Rita lived.
No, I don't think they even said it.
I don't remember.
No.
He just showed us, hey, you dropped
Did he
them?
follow her?
I don't know.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, I think he followed.
He might have followed.
I'm trying to remember.
She seemed rightfully creeped out. She seemed
Sure.
Yeah,
whereas
she
Anna,
wanted him out
whereas
of there.
Anna was just like, "Come on in."
Wasn't she creeped
Check
out
out my art.
during the photo shoot too? She didn't like him being there.
No, I think she
The
was
guy
like,
didn't
No,
like
I
him
don't
being
think
there.
the guy-
Yeah,
it was
okay.
the guy.
The guy was
The
like,
guy
"Hey,
was like,
cut the
listen,
chit chat. I'm paying these.
Right,
fucking-
right,
I'm paying
right.
these whores $100 an hour."
He's like, "I'm sure you and your friend have a lot to talk about."
That's right. That's
we
right.
got fucking work to do.
Yeah,
that's right.
I got $300 riding on these whores. Let's roll.
$100 a grease stain.
Tell your greasy friend to put the teddy bear down and get the fuck out of here.
Photo shoot. Jim Henson's yelling at everybody. See that beard he had?
Yeah, that's right.
He did look like Jim.
He did look like. Did he look like Jim Henson? He's like, "Look,
Rainbow connection.
let me explain something to you, whores. Let me explain something to you, Greasy Wario. These 3 whores are costing me $100 an hour, and I've got to write a song about a fucking rainbow for a movie I'm doing. So can we move along,
Mommy.
Oh, Jim Henson.
Oh man,
Lord, Jim Henson. So he goes.
boy, we're undermining this movie a little.
Now, what does he do? Now, let's see. Like, you do the $100. What did he do to make it easy to get into her house?
He did something with the. He clicked the little.
He clicks the little lock.
The little lock on the side when she
goes,
opens the door.
Now, she does something that I told Lindsay. It's the first time I've ever seen a woman do in a movie, period. She takes a bath, which, women do all the time.
Yep.
But what was missing from the bath that every woman in movies has?
Bubbles.
Nope, she had bubbles.
She had bubbles?
Yeah,
Yep.
it was bubble bath.
Candles.
Oh.
Every woman in every movie ever has never taken a bubble bath without 1,000 candles. Now, funnily enough, earlier in the movie,
She had no candles.
Frank Zito,
The
when he takes
budget.
his murder naps, he has candles fucking everywhere.
Yeah,
The
there's
budget
candles all
didn't.
over.
There's
They
only
couldn't-
candles for one scene.
They couldn't bring the candles from his house to her.
No.
Yeah.
So
They
he,
look too much as like the same candles.
yeah, are those fucking Frank Zito's candles? I noticed you're taking a bath without candles. I brought some of my own.
I brought you some.
I brought some random rando candos.
made from the grease off of my face.
Frank Zito's.
We took my sweat and we collected it into a jar and let it solidify, and we made candles out of it.
Frank Zito's rando candos.
I made it from my own earwax.
That's what he does now. Is he scalps them and he fucking mines their earwax and makes candles out of that shit.
Oh man.
So what does he do with her, Lloyd? What does he do with her? He kind of keeps her hostage.
Yeah. Does he take? He takes her back, right?
Or
Or does he
in
do
her
it all
in
right
her
there?
house?
In her house. Yeah. He puts her in the bed and he.
He tells her that he's not going to hurt her.
Yeah.
This is nice.
Yeah.
She's
And then
like,
he
"Hey,
starts
let me-"
talking to her like
Yeah.
she's his mother.
Right.
Yeah.
She's the first one he ties down, right?
She's the first one that
Yes.
he makes it seem like he
Yeah.
might like let her live.
Right.
Until he suddenly doesn't.
Yeah, until he suddenly gets the switchblade out.
Yeah.
Don't kill me.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, let me take."
Yeah, I don't think there's ever
I'll
a
take
question.
I'll take this fucking
if he's
thing
gonna
out of
let
your
her
mouth.
live or not.
I don't think
Well,
there's
he
a
said he
question.
was gonna let her
I don't think there's. He says it, but
Yeah,
I think
he
we
says
know
it,
he's
but-
not going to. But for a minute there, it's the first one where he's actually
think-
struggling.
Yeah, he's
he
arguing
thought
with
he was
himself.
going to let her live.
Yeah. Because he even after he kills her, I think he says, "Why did you do that?"
Right.
Like, why did you do it? You didn't have to do it.
But he's like, now you're with me forever.
Yeah.
That's like he said to the photographer. You're
Yeah.
preserving their beauty so they can never leave you.
Right.
And that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And her
you
death
didn't
scene
say
was-
it creepy enough. You got to say it creepier than that because he certainly said it as fucking creepy as possible.
well,
No, you do it. You're better at the creep than I am.
You're preserving the beauty forever.
Yeah, there you go.
I wish I still had my mother around. I can't. I'm not going to try.
It's hard. He's got a
Yeah.
very distinctive voice, but the way he's so unctuous. It's just
Yeah.
oily
Yeah.
as he speaks, and you just feel like you want to take a bath after every scene he's in. You know?
He's a fucking goblin. This guy.
He's a goblin.
There's no other way to put it. He's a goblin. Frank Zito, the murder goblin.
Alien life form.
Her death scene is hardcore.
Yeah.
Because it's like one of those. It reminded me of like just the idea of getting stabbed like that.
Well,
like
it's
he's
slow.
He's not
Right.
jamming it in her. He just
No,
takes
it's
the
just like
blade.
he just
slides it right in.
One
puts
shot.
his whole weight on her.
It reminded me very much of that fucking troubling scene in Saving Private Ryan with
Yes,
with
yes.
the fight and where he's
Good
like
call.
begging him not to do
Yeah.
it. He's like no, and he just slowly like
He's
fucking
like,
kills him.
that scene really gets me.
That whole
I
movie
really
gets
wanna
me.
hear about it.
That scene is
Especially
brutal.
since it still makes me mad, especially since they let that motherfucker go.
Yeah.
It still makes me mad.
Fucking Reiben,
I'm like,
man.
fucking see?
Fucking
You see?
Reiben. I wanted to
Fucking
like
hate that
him.
scene.
I wanted to like Reiben, and then not Reiben. I'm sorry. What was Reiben? Was Edward Burns? Who was the who was the Jeremy Davies. What was his character? I can't remember his name.
Oh,
he lets him go.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he says to him, he says at the end, Mickey Mouse? And he blows him away at the end when it's too late. Ah, that's a great movie. Anyways, so now we get to the nitty gritty. He kills her. He goes to her funeral. He sends a fucking bouquet, which he gets. He's gonna get his dick sucked for sending a bouquet to a funeral of a woman he killed, because her friend is so. She's like, that was so nice.
He's
Frank.
playing all the angles.
Everything, everything.
Frank, fucking pimp.
Frank Zito, the fucking greasy Wario goblin pimp.
He's his own worst enemy. He is. Because he's never going to get it. So
you know why he's
never going to get it.
He's got her in the car, right? He's got her in the car. She's thanking him for all the fucking shit he did.
Yeah.
He could get her right there.
Yeah.
What does he do? Hey, you mind if we stop off and see my mom at the cemetery?
Yeah.
That's exactly where you want to take your girlfriend, to the cemetery.
And again,
to the foggy fucking cemetery.
So fucking creepy the way he says it. And she's like, oh, we can do that, Frank. It's fine.
No problem.
I brought a wreath.
Take me to the fucking foggy cemetery. It got all dark and foggy. Did you notice that?
Not just that it got dark and foggy, but like the scene before that when they're driving through 70s New York.
Yeah.
It's so hilarious because it's like this giant 4-door sedan and it's just like flying through the
Oh,
road.
yeah.
Like but then he's like, you mind going to see my I'd like to pay my respects. I got a wreath in the back, and like in her head, she's probably like, well, you brought the wreath, I have to go. Like if I say no and you have the wreath, it's a living thing.
It'd be one thing if she was like a polite Canadian, but she's English.
Yeah, she's just like, of course, Frank.
Yeah,
I'd love to see your mother's grave. How fucking weird is that?
Right. Yeah.
On our second date, we're going to see your dead mother's grave.
Before the show.
Let's go to a show. Well, that's that's the other thing.
I want to go to a show.
She has nothing going on in her life because he literally calls her up and says, would you like to take in a
I'll pick you
show?
up in 15 minutes.
10.
And he's
10.
It was
I'll
10.
be ready in 10.
parked on the sidewalk at a phone booth, and when he's done hanging up, and she's like, "Oh, I'll go with you." Okay, that's great. This is New York.
He doesn't even pull over to go get her. He just blows the fucking horn.
Yeah.
Barely slows down.
Right.
She has to like get in on a run.
He says,
I just love when he pulls away from the phone booth. He hops off the
curb.
curb.
Off the curb, yeah. He says 15 minutes. She's like, you can make it 10. I've got no life.
Right?
Like, holy shit, this chick is the hottest, desperate chick I've ever seen. She can't wait to go out with
She
fucking
likes Frank.
with fucking
That's
Frank.
Caroline Monroe for you.
Yeah. They had done I didn't write them all down. One was called Star Crash.
Yeah, Star
They
Crash.
starred in 3 movies together.
Did they?
Over the course of like maybe 5 years. Star Crash was I think right before this, and then there was something else.
I vaguely remember that one.
What else was she in with him?
Yeah, I
Was
don't
she in
think I wrote
Cruising?
them all down. Yeah, Cruising.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never seen
Joe
that.
Spinell.
That's Al Pacino,
Vinegar
the
Syndrome.
gay murderer.
Vinegar Syndrome has I don't know if they put it. The archive has some new restorations of that. I don't know if it's Vinegar Syndrome or not. But the archive just got in some restoration.
She was in Spy Who Loved Me as well.
Yes, yeah, she was in. She was in the Spy Who Loved Me.
One of the Bond girls.
Yeah.
And she was also in Dracula AD.
She was also in just because I was reading her IMDb credits. She was also in the David Niven Casino Royale.
Oh,
yeah,
Clam Casino Royale.
Clam Casino Royale. Yeah.
There's your title.
Comes together.
There's your title.
I heard that guy got Clam Casino.
Zito.
Yeah.
Frank Zito.
Oh Jesus! This is
so takes her to the cemetery.
Yeah,
goes to see mom, and now this is the scene where everything just falls apart.
Do you notice the day the mom died?
No, what was it?
I
was
couldn't
it
see
Christmas?
it.
December 25th.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm surprised he wasn't wearing a fucking like Santa wig throughout.
Did
the
they
whole
ever
movie.
say that he killed his mom?
No, I
It's
believe
inferred, but
I don't think.
I think she
didn't
died in a
think
car crash. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a car crash. but-
that's what he says.
Yeah, I believe it.
right.
I believe it. I think
But
his
of
mom
course,
was a
did he cause it?
well. I don't know.
The way he talks halfway through these the movie, he little things he says makes it sound like he's the one that killed her.
It seems fitting to be killing your mom on Christmas with all those kind of issues you're dealing with.
I'm going to cut that out, Lloyd, in case anything happens to your mom on Christmas. No, I'm just.
I mean,
No, I know what you're saying.
Movie.
No, you're right. I didn't notice the date. That's interesting. That's
I
interesting.
couldn't see it, but I tried to, and then of course weird things happen.
Well, I watched this. Like, I don't know about you guys. I'm sure Larry owns like 17 copies of this
Right.
movie in different levels too. And
only two. Only two.
3 VHS.
Larry had said to
you
me that he was going to be in Wallingford last.
You got the
last
Clam
night.
package too.
Yeah, Clam
Clamshell.
he said he was going to be in Wallingford last night, so he was going to drop me off a DVD. But I wanted to watch it earlier in the week. It's one of those movies. It's not on Amazon Prime. It's not rentable through any
It's on
streaming
YouTube.
service. I watched it on YouTube
With the Spanish
subtitles. Giant yellow Spanish subtitles through the whole movie.
They cover the whole screen.
Whole screen. Whole screen.
For any of you guys out there want to see it for free and not subtitles like that, you can get it on Vudu. It's free with ads. On Vudu.
I watched because I watched that first. Actually, I tried streaming on another service, and it just kept timing out, and I got fucking tired.
It is available on Shudder as well.
I would recommend the brand new Blue Underground 4K restoration. Tons and tons of extra.
How much
footage.
better does this movie look in 4K?
Yeah, really.
It looks. It's not.
This movie looks like it was filmed on fucking.
I was actually joking with Simonetta about that yesterday.
You actually need a kerchief
because
you could read the tire sign.
Well, let
size.
me ask you: have you seen the 4K restoration of Night of the Living Dead, the Criterion?
No.
It's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Like to take a 1968 black and white and make it as crisp as they did. Same thing with Basket Case. They just did a 4K restoration of that, and it looks amazing.
Criterion did?
No, that one's is that Blue Underground too?
Oh,
I can't remember
okay.
who did the Basket Case. No, that might be Arrow. That's Arrow Video.
Oh, okay, all right.
I told Mike, I was like, I think it's like a 3.5K. I don't even think it's like a 4. I was like, it looks good, but not as good as the other ones do. But that aside, it still looks much better than the DVD, of course. There's tons and tons of extra footage.
Well,
they found a whole bunch of deleted scenes that they didn't put in.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, really?
Interviews with Spinell and.
If you want to go down about 9 levels, watch the YouTube version with the yellow subtitles.
Oh, it's hysterical.
Yeah, it's because it's funny because if it's like one sentence, it's at the bottom. Fine.
Right.
If someone says something like more than 2 sentences, the entire screen is covered.
The giant letters.
Giant fucking letters. K Kidissimo.
Yeah.
So you're saying I should have dropped off that copy?
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
So, I did watch it on another streaming service after that because I fell asleep a couple times watching it with the Spanish subtitles.
I tried to find it on everything. The only other thing it was available on was Shudder, and I don't have Shudder.
Yeah.
But I got to watch it anyway. So
yeah.
So we're at the end of the movie, and he's visiting the mother's grave with her, and then he fucking loses.
He
her
starts
right then and
losing.
there.
Yeah.
Well,
What's he saying? Rita knew.
Well, he can't.
Yeah,
And like Rita was the girl he just killed.
Yeah, like I think he equated Rita to his mother at that point.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. It gets weird.
Where did he do?
And then
he
the mom
kept
zombie.
repeating
And then the mom zombie.
The
scene.
mom
Yeah, the mom
zombie
zombie was
pretty
funny.
badass.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Before that, he had
It was.
that
It was
whole-
actually. I remember the first time I saw that, and it was actually like a jump scare moment for me. The mom zombie thing. I was like, oh shit! Didn't
It
have
is
that
That
guy.
was after the shovel, right? They ran through the.
No, that was
No, it
before
was
the
at,
show.
it was at the
beforehand.
because they were still at the grave.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She gets away from him.
thought
He
that
falls
came after.
down.
Yeah.
The mom zombie comes out, which is a great effect.
Yeah.
And then he runs after her, and then she hits him in the arm with the sharpest shovel on earth.
Right.
Because
But
like
then he can't run because of his arm.
Right.
I just remember being like, "Sack up, dude! She hit you
Yeah,
with a
right.
fucking
Right.
shovel."
Yeah, in the arm.
Not in the
You can
head.
still run.
Caroline Monroe. She shovels well.
she does.
She's the shovel.
But the thing is like she hits him in the side of the arm with a shovel. Now I got a shovel in my garage right now. We could test this out.
Yeah.
I think if I hit any of you in the side of the arm with my shovel, it's probably not going to like really cut you
No.
too bad. It's going to hurt.
Yeah.
His arm is like fucking bleeding like a
Right.
Yeah,
motherfucker.
like a stuck
And when he
dick.
gets to his house, he like collapses on his bed,
Yeah,
like,
right.
like he just got beat up.
Which is what makes like his real death in real life so weird.
So weird, yeah.
That like he really bled to death on his bed in real life, and that's essentially what ends up happening in this movie. Is the character goes back to his house. She gets away.
Yep.
In the remake, she does not get away.
Yeah.
He kills her in the remake.
Yeah.
The remake is Elijah
Spoiler
Wood.
alert,
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, damn, now I don't want to watch this movie.
The remake is also it's Elijah Wood plays the Frank Zito character, and it's
all first
entirely
person.
in first person.
Yeah.
So you never
wow.
it's all shown from his point of view, and the only time you ever see Elijah Wood is in a mirror
Reflections and
or a
shit.
reflection.
Oh, I did hear about that.
It's good.
All right,
But
yeah,
it
that's
really
right.
is from scene to scene very much a remake in terms of the
Except
hooker.
it's in L.A., right?
I think it's in L.A. He kills the hooker. He kills she's not a nurse, but he chases her not through a subway, but through a parking lot. He ends up.
Samwise Gamgee's trying to help him through the whole fucking thing.
Let me carry your load, Mr. Zito.
Rudy comes in.
Yeah.
Well,
I
considering
may
how-
not be able to carry it, but I can carry you.
He was so creepy in the Sin City movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's not surprising that he could pull that
No, he
off.
did a good job.
Yeah,
in
he
that.
did.
Maybe I'll check that out.
I recommend checking it out. It's a good.
Now, How bad was when he's running through the graveyard? He hears the flashback.
Right.
Yeah.
Mommy, don't put me in the closet.
Yeah.
Frankie, you're a bad boy. Mommy, Frankie, you're a bad boy.
You've got to be pumped.
That was just horrible voice acting.
I take it for what it was for the time.
Yeah, and
It was really bad.
he's just hearing voices, man.
There was a lot of
could have been better.
overdubs that were not the best.
Yeah.
And
you
a lot
gotta
of it was him going,
And you got to remember, I also watched the worst copy of this ever.
Yeah, you
so I guess maybe it didn't take me out.
Maybe, yeah.
It didn't take me out.
So he gets to his
"Sí,
house.
Gets to his house.
señorito."
He collapses on his on his bed in his weird purple bedroom.
Yeah, he does
weird
have a
purple
weird
bedroom with the mom shrine in the
Yeah.
in the corner.
And the two worst New York cops I've ever seen.
Yeah, well,
One of them,
not yet.
I swear to God, one of them is like a Russian guy. The guy the guy on the right, he when he doesn't talk, I'm like, this guy looks
those are real New York City cops.
Are they really?
They're real detectives.
No wonder
Yeah.
they look so terrible.
They're the worst cops ever. So
Well, for the movie. Well, all right. So hold on. So he gets back. He collapses on his bed because he's been hit with a shovel.
yeah.
In the arm, and you know how taxing that can be.
This is
Well, he definitely had a full psychotic break
Yeah. Oh,
at this
yeah.
point.
This guy is the definition of I can give it out, but I can't take it.
Yeah. So then you start the. I would assume the guilt is taking him over.
Yeah.
Now he's got this guilt thing, and he just sees all of his victims.
Attacking
all the
them, that's
mannequins.
right.
The mannequins
Come
come to
on.
life.
Yeah, that was so cool. That was actually a really
that
good
was
scene.
a really good scene.
Yeah, I did like that.
Well, especially because they pull his fucking head
They
right
fucking
off.
rip
Right?
his head off.
Yeah, they pull
The,
his
the
fucking
sound effect was great.
Yeah, there was a lot of splurping noises.
Splurp.
And it was all the women that played the women he killed.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they come to life with the mannequins. And it was a great scene. They stab him, they rip his head off.
It's a great.
They chop off his arm with the fucking machete.
Chop his arm off, right?
Yeah, I really dug that. I mean, not just because of the goriness of it, but the whole thing. It's supposed to be in his head, so it's pretty cool.
So then, next scene, you see him. He's laying there, and
he's laying, and he stabbed himself.
With the bayonet, thank God.
You got to assume that Anna has called the cops because now the next scene,
she pulled a Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Frank Drebin's.
Exactly. It's like the beginning of fucking Police Squad.
Yeah. From the files of Police Squad.
As I'm watching, I'm saying to Lindsay, I'm like, this is a neighborhood. Slow the fuck down. They're driving through these mini New York streets at a fucking 180 miles an hour. It's like, no matter what happens.
In a Ford LTD.
They get out of the LTD, and I thought this was just hilarious. They
don't knock.
They don't knock. They
just
kick the door in, see he's dead on the thing, and then just look at each other and just shut the door.
I don't think they say a word.
They don't say a
They
word.
just look at him.
They left
They
like
look
they
at each
did
other.
it.
Yeah.
They snuck out like they killed him.
They didn't even check his pulse.
Nothing.
Just look at. Oh no, he's dead. Let's go.
They didn't
let's
even
sleep.
take more than 2 steps into the room.
No.
They just walked in, looked at him, looked at each other, fucking turned around, shut the door, and left.
We see this every night.
And how does the movie end?
His eyes opening, which I thought out of the whole movie, which I will say I enjoyed. And this might be one of the earliest cases of that in a horror movie where, like, the killer's eyes open. I wish that didn't happen. Because I know what they're doing there, maybe like Maniac 2, next year or whatever. But to me, it's like, it was just, I liked it better with the thought of that he's dead. And one more thing about the cops is these are the second worst horror movie cops in the 70s, right after Black Christmas. When the Black Christmas guys just like leave her in the house, they're like,
oh yeah,
they're
right.
Like, we're not going to really check the whole house. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
You're, and everybody else is dead, but you take a nap.
Yeah.
We're gone.
You hang out here.
You hang here. If there's anything wrong, you use that switchboard again, and John Saxon will get you. We'll be there. I mean, did you think these were the worst cops ever?
They were terrible.
They're not the worst ever. The worst ever is in Halloween 5.
Oh.
Which, if you've never seen, you'll see them, but they are pretty bad.
Okay, all right.
The ones in
I thought
Halloween
they were
5
really
actually
bad.
have like a theme song. Like, whenever they come on,
like
whenever they come on screen, I remember seeing it in the theater and be like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now? Do these guys have a fucking silly theme song? Is that what's happening?"
So they're worse than the ones in 2 where they're being pushed around by Loomis the whole movie.
Oh yeah, no, because they actually have a fucking dumb theme song.
God.
And they're like bumping into each other and.
What was in the newest Halloween with the Danny McBride Halloween where it's the two cops and they have a conversation about like a banh mi sandwich? Do you remember that?
Oh,
they're in the car. It's like, well, it's a Vietnamese sandwich. I'm like, this scene is this whole fucking movie. What is happening?
Yeah, that's a whole other podcast.
That's a whole other podcast. So that's the end of the movie.
That's Maniac.
That's Maniac. So as we have done in the past, we're going to talk about ratings. Larry comes up with an interesting rating system for every one of these. And we'll just kind of talk about. Lloyd, did you have any other notes or anything, any trivia of interest or anything that we should go over?
No, we covered everything.
We did talk a lot about this movie.
I can give you a little Spinell fact.
Yes.
So he was friends with Spielberg, and he was supposed to be. Him and a buddy of his were supposed to be the two guys in Jaws who fell off the dock and then had to
really?
That was Spinell and one of his friends, but they couldn't make it to the shoot that day, so Spielberg had to find two other guys.
One thing I read about him was that he was in the Godfather. You fucking with that noise. I'm only getting mad now. You've been doing it for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And now it's getting to me. He was in The Godfather, and The Godfather 2 is Chi-Chi, right? He was the bodyguard / hitman.
Yep.
Francis Ford Coppola liked him so much that he paid him a full actor's wage to stay on set, even on days he wasn't he only had a small role.
Yeah.
He liked him, and he liked talking to him and bouncing ideas off of him, that he kept him on set for days he wasn't filming and paid him for it just because he liked the dude.
He's supposed to be, well, not anymore, but supposedly he was a great guy. Everybody liked him.
Yeah.
That's why he was in all the Stallone movies. Stallone loved him.
Stallone loved him, yeah.
And he was in Paradise Alley. He was in fucking everything with Stallone up until Stallone got real big. And then they're
no Gazzo in Rocky 3.
No Gazzo in Rocky 3.
No Gazzo in First Blood. I know it's not his line in the first Rocky with, hey, take her to the zoo. Retards love the zoo. But the Gazzo line I always liked was in the second one. He's like, Rock, you ever think about investing in condominiums? No, I don't use them. I never use them. Mr. Gazzo, the loan shark in the Philadelphia loan shark.
Remember he tried to, in part 2, he tried to motivate him when he goes into the fucking gym and Rocky's fucking sweeping up and he sees there's the big picture and he's like, hey, Rock, remember that guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to fucking motivate him.
I never, until I watched the movie this week, started kind of researching it last week, I never realized that was the same, that was this dude in this movie. When I read that, I'm like, Mr. Gazzo. I'm like,
Mr. Gazzo.
That's so fucking weird. And then you read about the guy. I suggest anybody listening to this, if you want to read a pretty interesting story, a good career, and unfortunately, he died in 1989, so it was cut very short. He was, I think, 59 years old.
Yep.
And he didn't do a lot towards the end. I think one of his last larger film roles was he was in Married, the Michelle Pfeiffer thing, Married to the Mob.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that was one of the last things. I think, and that might have been
that's unfortunate.
That might have been posthumous. Yeah,
it's unfortunate, but I think it did.
I think it did well.
Yeah, I think that was
anything Michelle Pfeiffer back then.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, not me.
No?
She always looked like she just finished crying. It bothers me. Every time I see her, I'm like, was she just crying?
That was as specific. That was as specific as the Mike Myers thing. It's like, you dumped her because you said she smelled like soup.
That's why.
So I married an ass.
Did we talk budget?
No, give us budget, give us all that stuff.
So all I got was budget was $350,000.
That's a lot, actually.
And it made $10 million.
That's a good fucking
Wow.
clip.
See, I had $350,000. I didn't have the actual.
And I doubt it opened everywhere.
Right. No, I don't know how many screens it opened.
One of the things I want to say about this movie before we rate
there were still drive-in theaters then.
Yeah,
so.
This was probably playing on double bills.
Yeah,
I'm surprised it's not one I saw at the drive-in.
Really? Yeah.
I saw so many at the drive-in. I'm surprised this wasn't one of them.
I'm glad you didn't see this at the drive-in at 11 or 9 or something.
Right.
I know you've seen a lot, but man, this might have been one that might have been too. I don't picture. I mean, I could be wrong, and I'm not throwing you out there, but this isn't one you show your kids, right?
No, I would not. No. As a matter of fact, when I was watching it, rewatching it this week, anytime Owen or Jalen came downstairs, I paused it.
Yeah, I had to pause mine too.
Yeah, there's certain things I won't.
I felt weird watching it. I felt weird watching it in front of my adult wife because I didn't know what I literally. This was a movie that I felt like
I would not watch this in front of my wife.
I didn't know what I was getting into. You know what I mean? Like one of those movies, I always refer back to when you talk about that kind of dirty feeling.
Yep.
Chainsaw Massacre, the first one.
Okay.
To me, feels like you're watching something kind of real.
Yep.
Even though it's not, and it's just because it's low budget. It's grimy looking. And before I watched this, I watched the trailer for it, and I went, I don't know if I want to watch this with Lindsay around. And I did because I had to do it, and she watched along with me, and just kind of between reading and stuff. But I will say, for the feeling I got of this movie before watching it, from hearing about it, from the poster, and kind of its reputation, it was done much more professionally and better than I expected. I thought this was going to be a real, grimy, low budget, not interesting. And in the end, I was even the scene that kind of immediately brought me into it was the first after he wakes up from the memory dream, whatever it is, when he kind of comes to. he sits up on the bed, and then like the screen fills up with like Joe Spinell, Maniac, and I thought even that looked better to me than I expected this movie to be able to kind of bring up. So
yeah.
All right, Larry, what are your ratings for this? What are we gonna go with?
Our rating system will go 1 through 5. 5 being awesome, 1 being poop. And I suppose our rating system should be buckets of sweat.
Yes, yeah. Nice. Yeah, this guy is a sweaty motherfucker.
Because he is really sweaty.
Yeah.
Like he's very choky and he's very sweaty.
Yeah.
He's very stabby.
He's very stabby.
Very slicey.
Yeah.
All right, John, I want to hear from you first because you already said that you didn't like this movie.
And it's not that I didn't like the movie. The movie makes me very uncomfortable. It's not one I would watch again voluntarily. And it makes me. This is where I wonder if I had seen it before or not, because a lot of it looked familiar. I just don't remember it. But I'm putting it in the 2.5 category.
Okay.
And it's got a solid story. The acting in certain scenes is really good. Some of the end of the movie is fantastic. I loved the end of it, which, considering how some really good movies end terribly for me and just undermine the whole film.
Right.
Boondock Saints.
Bad movie from beginning to end, man.
What was that?
Boondock Saints.
Well, I can't get on that train.
Yeah, well. Anyway, this movie does end really well. It's dirty, though. It just makes you want to take a bath after.
It's a grimy film.
Yeah, and it's not that it's a bad thing. It's just it's not a movie that is going to entertain me on any level in a future viewing.
This movie would be. This is not a joke either. This movie would be like, I would say 25% less grimy feeling if it was like set like in some like country town or something. New York City adds so much such a layer of like grease and grime to this movie. The setting is just so like. It just I don't know, Times Square, the hotel, everything,
tight apartment.
Some of it is a little comedic to me, especially in the beginning when he strangles the kid on the beach. It's just so ridiculous.
Oh, with the piano wire.
Yeah,
he must have learned that from The Godfather.
Between that and then his it sounds through the whole fucking movie. All I kept thinking was student bodies. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a great movie.
So it just, I was like, okay, I know Student Bodies came later, but I'm like, oh, that's all that's running through my head right now.
That's one where the corpse keeps farting, right?
Well, it's everything. The guy, he's killing people with paper clips and shit. I mean, it's just.
That's a rewatch. I haven't seen that in a long time.
That's a fun movie.
It's right around the same time, 81. It's a spoof comedy about like because that was like right when the slasher movies were becoming like popular.
The Thing.
The Thing, yeah. All right, Lloyd, what do we got from you?
Much like John, I feel a lot the same way. I would not watch it really again for any reason unless I had to. It's very disturbing. It's difficult to watch, but I think for its own merits, it's much better than. It's not like a 1 movie. I would go 2.5.
2.5,
and I think I might rewatch or might watch the remake with Elijah Wood.
I suggest
I might try that. I don't think you could remake this movie without switching it up somehow, making it something different, which I believe they did with the first person.
The remake with Elijah Wood, besides the first person, and then this movie here is violent and has some really violent stuff, is violent as hell. Like there's one scene where he scalps a girl, and again, because it's shown from his point of view, it's really it's the first scene in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, on the beach.
Well, no, in the remake, it's in like an apartment hallway. And she's trying to get home at night, and he has her up against the wall, and then he starts to fucking scalp her with a giant blade, and it's her struggling, and it's like you're watching like VR or something.
Yeah.
There's some real gore. I'm gonna give this movie the buckets of blood. I agree with both of you guys. Buckets of sweat. I would not. I'm going to headbutt you. I would not want to own. This is not in my collection. This is not something I'd bust out and go, hey, we got to watch Maniac.
You're not going to put it in your collection?
I'm not going to put it in my collection.
Yeah, see, it's just one of those movies.
But I'm going to go one step above you guys. I'm going to say 2.75. Because, again, the extra, I'll go with you guys. 2.5 is where I feel. I give it that extra quarter rating for the surprise that I got. Because, like I said, I really expected this to be like some like 78-minute, low budget, especially, again, if you read a little bit about it, the guy's a porn director. This is his first like real movie. A lot of the people that he used, his cinematographer was his porn cinematographer. So I mean, he's using actors and actresses that, or at least one.
I'm sure people are scrambling to work with him too.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're doing a real movie? Come on, can I do it with you?
And it made fucking $10 million.
Yeah,
he's got more mayonnaise stained fucking wife beaters than anybody now because of this movie. All right, Larry. So this is your show. This is your movie.
This is my movie.
This is your movie.
My movie.
You put it on the list.
You put it on the list.
I did. And you guys are talking about how uncomfortable it is.
So uncomfortable.
And it really is. It's an uncomfortable film. It's one I'm glad I never watched with my parents. Because there were some moments where. Still one that lives with me to this day. I remember it was in the living room. It wasn't a drive-in situation. This was one we rented because I think it came out in like '86. I remember renting from the fucking video store, sitting down with mom and dad in the living room and watching Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Oh,
and just
I've
being
still
like,
never seen that, but that's another movie I think of in this term.
Yeah, there's a scene where they tie up a family and rape them, like raping the mom in front of the kids, and I'm just like sitting there. I'm like, this is not something I should be watching with mom and dad.
Yeah. No way.
Like, as a matter of fact, I'm like, this is not something I should be watching at all. I don't think that's a disturbing movie as well. But it's a great movie. Michael Rooker is amazing.
I got to check that out. I've never seen that.
It's a hell of a movie. But back to Maniac. This happens to be one of my favorites. Especially when you're talking about serial killers and things like that. I grew up with a big curiosity about serial killers. I read Zodiac Killer books, and I've got tons of books still on serial killers. Very interesting to me. And like what I said, what Mike Simonetta said rings true. This is like a movie that really takes the phases of a serial killer and shows them all to you. So it's always been a favorite of mine because of that. I thought it was done really well. I think the effects are fantastic. I think the acting is good. This for me is 4 buckets of sweat.
4 buckets of sweat. Yeah, and I figured you were going to go high. I mean, I don't know your collecting habits necessarily, but for you to go buy a Blu-ray or a 4K of a movie that is in this shape, I still can't understand like how they could get a 4K restoration.
Right.
I mean, again,
somebody had a can somewhere, and
it looks good.
Yeah,
it looks good. Like I said, it was more like a 3.5. But
3.5. But still,
but it does. It looks good. Blue Underground did a really good job, and the extras, the extra features are fantastic. I haven't even gotten through all of them yet. There's like an hour long Who's Joe Spinell, like lost interviews with him and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff, outtakes, him like screwing around, him in it took forever, I guess, for him and the porn star to get that scene right. He kept like coming out of the closet at the wrong time, knocked the tea out of her hand, and they're just like cracking up through the whole thing, keep doing it over and over and over, and they were just having a great time, and it's pretty funny.
When I looked up Joe Spinell, you
kind of have to laugh when you're doing a movie like this.
Yeah, you got to keep it light.
You'd have
subject
to keep
matter
it light.
being so dark.
You'd have to keep it light. When I think it was either IMDb or Wikipedia. When I just was looking up Joe Spinell, the picture that comes up of him is a picture of him on set in The Godfather. And the first thing I thought of before I realized this was Gazzo, was I thought he was fucking Tony Clifton.
No,
he looks like
he does look like Tony Clifton.
He looks like Tony. You know what Tony Clifton was?
No.
Tony Clifton was Andy Kaufman's alter ego, maybe, or maybe not.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing behind that. He's the big lounge singer, big fat guy, talks like this. And when I first saw it, I went, "Is this fucking Tony Clifton? Is he in this movie?" But it kind of looks like Tony Clifton.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say this real quick. I mean, for anyone that thinks that me giving this a 2.5 is a bad rating, if you listen to any of the movie invitationals and you put me down in front of a TV with 2 movies, Adaptation or Maniac, I'm going to watch Maniac every single time.
Yeah.
Because Adaptation is a piece of shit and should never be forced on anyone.
Poor Jerry Morgan. FOJ Live. At FOJ Live. Check Jerry out on Twitter. We love Jerry. He picked Adaptation, which is the only out of the, I don't know, we've done like 13 Pint Movie Invitationals, the only one from John to get a 0. And we...
0?
I couldn't give it any lower.
0.
Yeah.
He wouldn't let me.
I'm like, I don't know if you could do a negative. Yeah. Daniel Day Simpson has no grade point average. All classes incomplete.
My favorite was always after he gave Lutowski the 0.0, and John was just like,
Yeah,
I know that.
yeah. He's like better than I thought.
It's like,
Yeah. This has been episode 2 of Scary Larry's Pint O Horrors. We talked all about Maniac, and we're going to at some point very soon do episode 3. So go to ConnecticCultClassics.com, check that out. Check Larry's writing out at HorrorNewsNetwork.net, and see ya.
See ya.
See ya.
We are leaving!